Well, I hope you've listened to our previous episode with our guest today, Shepherd Govere. Shepherd is the founder and president of the New Life Journey Discipleship Ministry in Zimbabwe. But he's also a good friend. He's someone that the Lord brought into my life at this stage of my life for something I think is very, very important. I'm always so excited to introduce him to people when he comes to visit me, to introduce him to Life Fellowship, to introduce him to our executive producer, Josh Brom, who is the founder and president of the Equal Rights Institute and who serves in this ministry with me. But Shepherd, thanks again for being with us on our podcast on Life Talks. And I want to take this episode, if we could, and talk a little bit about the ministry that got us. You've even got it, if you're watching this on YouTube, he's got his New Life Journey shirt on there. He designed that logo. He picked the colors out. And I brought the shirts over with me on my last trip so that he'd have one to wear when he represents New Life. His board members have them. I have one. Nice. In fact, you may even see me wearing one of these days on these podcasts, or already have, I'm sure. But New Life Journey is the formal organization that you founded and that I'm partnering with you on to be about the ministry of discipleship in Zimbabwe. Nice. But it has a history, it has a story, and it began with Teach Every Nation, which is a ministry led by Bruce Wilkinson. Americans remember Bruce Wilkinson for a couple of things. He used to have a ministry called Through the Bible, and he's a Dallas Theological Seminary grad. He was an expert teacher, and he would take you through the Bible very systematically. And then later on, he wrote a book called The Prayer of Jabez. It was a controversial book, quite frankly, at the time, usually being criticized by people who had never read the book. Once you read the book, you kind of understood what he was saying. Yeah. Yep. And it took off. It's probably the second biggest popular Christian book in recent U.S. history, and the only one that's bigger than that one would have been Rick Warren's Purpose-Driven Life. So Purpose-Driven Life, and then a few years later came The Prayer of Jabez. So rather than to take the money and just kind of like squirrel it away and use it for his bigger house and nicer cars, Dr. Wilkinson decided to start a ministry to reach the African continent. He was deeply burdened that the gospel hadn't taken root there as it had in other parts of the world. So he bought a game preserve. Initially, it's 1,500 acres. Today, it's up to 3,000 acres. Wow. And it's built around a lake that has hippos in it, hippopotami in it. I don't know what
that's not it.
It's not hippopotami, hippopotamuses. All I know is I want one for Christmas, which is that's an American
hippos?
joke. Yeah. Hippos, okay. But so they have these. It's like camping, only no, it's glamping. Okay, they have these beautiful, beautiful tents, air conditioned, gourmet food, a chef. I mean, it's just beautiful facilities. So for 9 months out of the year, you can go there and pay a lot of money. I think it's like $6,000 or $7,000 a person per week or something. It's a ridiculous amount of money. And you get to go on game drives and you get all this. They got a pool. I mean, it's a really, really nice resort. But the other 3 months, they open it up to leaders from across Africa who are doing discipleship and evangelism, and they train them. So this is the trip of a lifetime for many of them. Many of them have never flown an airplane before they do that, or they've never gone outside of their own country. So they come there, they get wined and dined, they get treated, they get trained. They have a week of intense introduction to discipleship strategy that he has designed that has 4 textbooks. The 4 textbooks are color-coded blue, red, green, and yellow. Did I get that right?
Gold.
Yeah, not yellow, gold. It's much nicer. And actually, they're writing a 5th year.
Get it right, Dan.
So it takes a year to go through it. They have this little teaching tablet. It looks like an iPad, but it's designed just for them. They load all the lessons on that in video, and you can open it up and play. It has even a solar recharger for it. So if you're out in the boonies, you don't have to have internet connection. You don't even have to plug it in. You can charge it up and it'll play. And it has the lessons that Dr. Wilkinson teaches, and it goes along with the book. Everybody gets a book. Everybody needs to have a book because it's like a course, and they have to buy it. Now, it cost us, $3 to $5? What is it? Something like that, to get one. But many times, $5 is a month's pay for some of these. So you can bring a chicken, you can bring a bag of potatoes, you can bring some maize, whatever you want to. Just got to have a little skin in the game. And then the teacher teaches it, or facilitates it, and helps answer the questions, but you get the teaching from there. And so you'll have rooms, and we're going to put some of these pictures, I believe, up on their YouTube so that you can see them, and so forth. But it goes for a year. At the end of the year, they have a graduation, and the graduation is a huge celebration. So Life Fellowship works with New Life Journey in that we help them do some of the things that they do, and we'll tell you about that in a moment. But we also help with the graduation. We'll literally get goats and slaughter the goats and make big pots of sadza, which is it's like grits without any flavoring and thick. And then usually some cabbage and some other things. Yeah. And they come and they just have a great time. And it's wonderful. It's a celebration. And then the next year, they can take the second one and the next one. And that's how they're approaching discipleship. So I wanted to give you that overview so you'll understand the context of what we're getting ready to discuss. So if you would go back to before you met me, and how did you get introduced to this plan, and take her from there.
Thank you so much. 2018, that's when I was introduced to this material, to Teach Every Nation, with a friend. I think he's currently the board chairman of Teach Every Nation. And I've been I was in ministry going to schools, preaching about drugs and alcohol abuse. And then the phase in 2018 was the rough page of my life. I was passing through that stage and frustrated and all that stuff. So I was introduced to 10. So when I went there, that was my first time to go to the campus, and knowing no one. And I was asking myself, why am I here? And what exactly is, there are places that you go and ask yourself, what exactly God wants me here? And that was my first time to meet Dr. Bruce and Martin, the current president and the CEO. So I was introduced to this material. So I was sitting in that room the other night, and I was asking myself, I think this is what I need. This is what I need personally. Number two, I think this is what my fellow friends and brothers at home need as well. Personally, when I gave my life to Christ, I was not discipled. No one taught me to read the Bible. No one walked the walk with me as well. So, but I had a man who really God brought in my life, George Ngala, and he taught me the Bible and that. So when I was introduced to 10 to Teach Every Nation, then looking at the courses like Find Peace by Forgiving Yourself, 70 by 70, how to double a church, the savor of the Bible, everyone can be a great communicator, all that stuff. And I was saying to myself, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing too, that I believe can really ground and help mold a man to be a right disciple, to be the right leader. All the qualities that you can talk of a leader, you could see them there. So I took it back home, that is in 2018. So when I get there, I remember Jeffrey is one of the guys that I taught and bring it to him and other friends, and started to say, guys, let's look into this, and how best can we use this? How best can we take this to our nation? And we started there, and then COVID came. Everything in the world stopped, but it came to pass, and we came 2021. 2021, we resume again, but on a slow pace. So one of my friends as well came down to Zimbabwe, and we started to redo this, started to lead first group that we lead to Hippolex to 10. Every man that we went with there came back home and started a group. Mm. And that's where I would say that's where everything started. And it was like the veiled fire, if I would say. And everyone was going and everyone was saying. So this is how this discipleship true works. It's all about relationship. It's all about friend. Who do you know in your network? That's how we're really taking it. Bring them to the table. Explain how they can benefit, how they can really see the goodness out of it, how they can disciple and raise leaders as well in their churches. So all that stuff, and we started there. Then 2022, sitting in that conference, being on that podium and telling my story. Mm. And there's was done sitting as well in the group. Probably 60, 40 people were there, and God connected us from that day, and here we are today.
Yeah, it's so exciting to see the providential handiwork of God from when you're looking back, and it is truly, for me, it's an answer to prayer, because I'm at that stage in my life where I felt like I had one more big project that God would have me join him in. And I did a course years ago called Experiencing God, and it says what we do is we come up with a project and ask God to join us, and that's backwards. We need to see where God is working and join him in that. And so this is the mindset I had coming to Zimbabwe. My first big project 10 years was in Albania. The next was in Cuba. And then this third and perhaps final one is in Zimbabwe. So we started talking about what would it do, or what would it look like to make sure that we were able to take the gospel and discipleship and leadership development and church planting across this nation. And we started talking about it can't just be Shepherd. It can't be Shepherd and Dan.
Yeah.
It has to be something that is bigger than us, that God is doing, but we want to be the servants to make it happen. So God gave you the vision. He didn't give Dan the vision. Yeah. You pitched the idea to me, and I've come alongside of you and said, let me help you with organizational structure, which I have some experience in, and resourcing, which as Americans, we just have that ability to be able to partner. So tell me what the goals of New Life Journey were at the beginning, and your first steps toward getting that established.
Our goal is to raise a leader who will raise another leader. Mm-hmm. A leader who understand the concept and the importance of discipleship. And from discipleship, that's now we have a leader, and we have a man who understand to raise more men as well. And we are not just ending there, because the biggest question, yes, we disciple men, yes, we've trained a leader. Then the biggest question is, then what? And this is what we're looking into now on planting churches. We can still go, and having all as big as Zimbabwe is, looking on the 10 provinces of our country, and having key men in every province, and every leader or every provincial leader, he had 6, 7 districts in his province. All these are the leaders that he can reach out to and help as well to raise. So the goal for New Life Journey is to saturate Zimbabwe with discipleship and training leaders, and who will be leaders of leaders as well, and to plant more churches who are well-rooted in the gospel, who are well-rooted as well in good principles of the Bible and good principles of what we believe could be the right way that we can love to lead the Church of God that way.
Tell us about the scope, if you would, of New Life Journey. So when I was there last September, we formalized it as an organization. That's why we brought the shirts.
Yeah. You
tell us a little bit about how it's structured, what accountability is there to it, and how do you introduce it to people?
The structure of New Life Journey, we have the board members on top, and we have building the national team as well.
Tell us a little bit about your board.
Thank you. Our board consists of 7 people who we have good background, good. Some of them on the intellectual side, they are so sharp. We have Jeffrey. Jeffrey's in ministry. I've known Jeffrey for 2000 from 2008 up to now. I've worked with him. I've done things with him.
And Jeffrey works with children's ministries.
Exactly.
Also, yeah.
Yes, he's working with IC as well. They go and do evangelism as well. Then Mlee is a dear brother as well. I've known Mlee since 2018. Mlee had been in ministry, planted a church, had led a church, had ran over the leadership to another young man, and he's one of the sound brothers that I would.
He's what you said when you're talking about disciples making disciples, leaders making the leaders.
Yes.
He literally started this church. It's an amazing church.
Exactly.
And then he trained up a leader.
Yeah.
and then he turned the church over and walked away from it.
Exactly.
Which is phenomenal because you walk away from your income, you walk away from your security, from your status, and he did that.
You did that.
So that was quite incredible.
Quite it was.
Right. And Malie, by the way, in my estimation, and I've worked with leadership teams all over the world, is one of the most articulate communicators of leadership principles that I've ever met. He is. He's an in-your-face, direct communicator that is very effective. All right?
Yeah. So that's one of the board members as well. You're having people like that. And you
high caliber people.
Exactly. And we have Maria. Maria, she's a chartered accountant by profession. And she's working on the admin of New Life Journey at the moment and helping us on bookkeeping because she has the accounts and the numbers in here.
And because we think this is important, we know that donors, particularly American donors, have a high expectation of accountability.
That's true.
So you operate off a monthly budget, which right now primarily Life Fellowship has been funding, but we're looking for more partners.
Exactly.
And then we can get regular reports on where the finances were spent. She does all the bookkeeping.
Exactly. Yeah, she's doing that and quarterly and be sending the reports like that. Then I have my brother, Dr. Govere. He is a professor in a university as well. He sits in the board of New Life. And then we have Grace. Grace, she's an HR, human resources person. She's the secretary of the board as well, and she understands some of the ethics that we might need to use as well. So this is kind of people. And then my wife and myself as well. My wife and me, we are the directors of the New Life Journey. So
and that's the cool thing. You've got this diversity on the board, men and women.
Yeah.
You've got different denominations. You've got pastors, business people,
exactly,
legal,
yes,
HR, educators.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've got this, what a strong board. Most American boards are not as strong as this one, and I've served on many. And so I'm really excited about the board that you've put together. And so tell us now a little bit about the areas you're reaching, because like most third world countries, developing nations, there's a big difference between the cities and the rural areas. So describe a little bit of that for us, will you?
Thank you for that. Personally, we are all over Zim, but our heart mostly loves to go to the rural. Why the rural? Because, people, they are so receptive, and not every people or organization really wants to go there. But, we have diversity of that. We have people who are doing discipleship, who are in town, who are using their TVs and other things. But like what you said in the beginning, we have that tablet that we take and put it in the rural. But having people in the rural, from the experience that I had so far, it really blesses my heart to be with them. It blesses me and encourages me, the sacrifice. If someone can cycle a bicycle for 20 kilometers to come for a conference, to come for a training, that is a big sacrifice.
Let's go back and circle back there, because I want to make sure everybody heard that. Say that again real slow. This is a real life example at a conference that you and I were at last September. Tell us about this guy.
He cycled 20 kilometers
each way.
Wow. And 20 kilometers going back.
Wearing a suit.
Yes. Coming to a conference where he interpreted as well.
He was the interpreter. Yep.
For the whole day. Mm-hmm. And that is a big sacrifice and big encouragement to see something like that. Yeah.
And this is indicative.
For the Americans, he rode about 25 miles that day. It was about 12 and a half miles
on a bicycle that would not exactly be what we would consider a state-of-the-art riding instrument.
Amazing.
Yeah. And what a great guy he was. He served all day long in the heat. Yeah. We were expecting a couple hundred people to show up to this conference at a church that had no running water. Did it have electricity?
No.
No electricity.
No, yeah.
We expect a couple hundred people. We bought a couple of goats. You bought a couple of goats and some cabbage and some corn that we were going to cook. And we had nearly 500 people show up.
Exactly.
That's a great problem.
Yeah. They were in ring. They couldn't get them all in and everybody's sitting on the floor. They were in rings outside the building trying to listen in the windows and at the doorways.
Exactly.
It was absolutely stunning. And they didn't want us to end when we end. They wanted it to go longer.
Wow.
They sat for hours and hours. And Shep, knowing the people, that he knows they would sit there all day long if you asked them to, but periodically he's like, okay, let's get up and go pray. Let's get up and get out. So we don't have blood clots going on or something, people just sitting on the floor so long. We had to buy more goats.
There were no kids there with loaves and fishes.
No, only, but the goats, let's just say they sacrificed it all. Yeah. I've got videotape of it.
We will not be putting that on YouTube.
We won't put that on YouTube. No, I'd get some letters on that. But I just left there so blessed at their desire to hear the word. That's a rural area. This is an area that's very poor. Yeah. They've had a bad drought. These are largely fishermen in this area.
Exactly.
Right. So now tell us a contrast. Tell us what it's like to be in Harare, which is the capital, or in or any of the other larger cities. What's the difference?
Now the difference is when you have tested doing a conference in the rural and the concentration of people, the participation of people and people there. Now coming into a town setup, man, because of the technology, everyone probably is on his WhatsApp, on his phone. And if you keep them, you cannot do a 2-day conference. Probably you can catch them only one day. The second day, you start to lose them. There are some who are coming because they know we are serving lunch, so they'll come towards lunchtime so that they can get lunch. And after getting lunch, they are gone. So having seen the comparison between the rural and so you rather have 1-day conference in a town that you can just envision, explain, and try to then move on, because there are so many, there are so many organizations that are coming in town with different material, different teachings as well. So we have several pastors who can attend workshops or conference probably on a weekly basis if they want to do that. So because of that, and again, they are looking at who is bringing this, why are they coming to us, what exactly do we benefit from this, what are we getting, and all that. But you cannot see that in rural. In rural, they want to learn. They want to ask you more, when are you coming, how best you can do this. So because of that too, you could see those are two different groups.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories of ministry with you, Shepherd, it wasn't last trip, but the trip before last, when we had 4 of us, I think, that were there. And you did a meeting at a coffee shop that was owned by a Christian.
Yeah.
And was it in Bulawayo?
Yeah.
And you basically said, I'm going to invite 20 or 30 pastors, and I hope, maybe 8 or 10, 12. We'll give them breakfast, I think you said.
Yeah.
And I think it was almost 24 showed up, well over 20.
Exactly, yeah.
And when we first started that, everybody was quiet. Everybody's kind of looking at each other. They enjoyed the breakfast and the coffee, but it was like, what's up? By the time we left, first of all, we were supposed to leave 2 hours sooner than we did.
Yeah.
They were,
yeah.
And they were all just chattering and talking and connecting and exchanging contact information and talking about discipleship. The atmosphere completely changed in a matter of hours while we were there.
That's very true.
And it's because you have an unusual gift, Shep, that you get up in front of this group of leaders and you don't come across like I've got all the answers, I know it all, but you get up with confidence, the confidence that comes from the Word of God and what God's called you to do. And you're able to network these people. It's a gift that's unusual among leaders. And I'm so excited to be part of it because, again, one of the flaws in the Western approach to missions is we do a colonial style of missionary work where the white dude who has a couple of degrees behind his name comes to this developing nation, and we say, okay, do it the way we do it in America. Well, this isn't America. It's nothing like America.
Yeah.
I don't know the language. I don't know the people. I don't know anything about it. I'm not an expert. And we come with the whole wrong attitude. And so sometimes we move there. And what do? We build a house that looks like it belongs in America. We put a wall around it saying you're not welcome in it. And to emphasize it, we put glass on top of the wall so you don't dare climb over it when we close the gates. And it sends the wrong message. And if you're really smart, you may learn the language over the course of 4 years, but you're never fluent in it. You always have a horrible accent, and you don't understand the culture and the idioms and everything else that comes with the language. When we've got people in the country who love Jesus as much or more than we do, who understand the language, the culture, and everything else, who live among the people, why do we think that just because we grew up in America, we've got the answers? The answers are there. We just need to look for opportunities to partner. And that's what I've tried to instill in our missions projects at Life Fellowship Church. I preach this when I talk to other pastors. We're not going to tell them how to do ministry. We're going to learn from them and to join them in ministry. And this is what I love about New Life Journey. I'm not a member of the board, but I got to sit in the board meeting. Yeah. I don't do all the teaching. You do more teaching, and Malie does more teaching than I do. I just kind of come in so they got somebody to look at that's different. And we meet almost weekly on the phone. We talk. That's the wonderful thing about technology that came out of COVID was the Zoom. Yeah. We're back and forth. But I'm not telling you how to do anything. I'm just saying, give this a shot. Here's something to read. Here's something to try. Yeah. And I learn more from you than you learn from me. I'll guarantee it. To me, that is biblical ministry, servant leadership. And that's why I love this man so much. I'm so excited. We're a little past time, but I want you to do this. What are some things? Okay, so right now, in order for us to develop the leaders, first of all, we've got to get them there at a meeting. All right. Secondly, you've got to get them set up with a group. They got to have the video player. They've got to have some textbooks. And then if they get good, we take them away for training at Hippo Lakes in South Africa. Yeah. So from my estimation, it looks like it costs around $400 to $500 to get a group started, trained, and let loose. And then from there, they can do it over and over and over again. But it takes that initial $400 to $500. Yeah. So we know that's one of the costs because it costs about $100 for the player, it costs about $5 a piece for the books. We got to send them to Hippo Lakes. What are some other needs that we have on a regular basis at New Life Journey that Americans may want to be able to get with and partner and give toward?
Thank you so much. Other needs is, number one, I would say, for me to travel around the country doing all this, it takes me a car to do that, and I have a beautiful truck that I love so much. But it's sitting on 520,000 kilometers currently. So one of the needs that we are praying and trusting God that if we can replace that truck as well, that might help us to go another 10 years, another extra mile as we're doing this. And secondly, I always have friends, pastors from the rural, who are coming in town, and sometimes they can spend a night there. And so, for example, one of my friends, pastors in the rural, came in, and they said, "I'm in town, but I'm sleeping at a bus terminus." That really touched me, and I was with my wife, and we drove and picked him, and they slept in my office. So we are on a position of changing our carport. Now into a guest room that we need to put about 4 bunk beds there that can accommodate pastors. These guys, at least they would have a clean shower, a cup of tea, and time to connect with me as well.
If you're adding a shower to a carport, that is a big project. Good job. That's cool.
So those three, in our monthly budget, our truck and the guest room, those are our company.
Yeah. So the monthly budget takes care of the accounting and the truck. Even if we get a new truck, it usually takes a couple of sets of tires per year because honestly, the roads in Zimbabwe are worse than Baghdad or Kabul or some awful place. They're just, I can't describe them. They're bone jarring, teeth rattling, blowout inducing. So we have to budget for regular turnover of tires. Yeah. We want to take good care of the vehicles. So you have to have the suspension systems put in. You have to have them regulated. You have to have oil changes and all this. So there's a monthly just that. Yeah. Then, we need to have the bookkeeping, the accounting. You print stuff out, all of this. So we need people to say, I'll be a monthly partner. I'll give 100, I'll give 500, I'll give 20, whatever it is, but give that. And then those who have the ability to give to a bigger project, like a vehicle replacement fund, or particularly this thing that Josh and Shep were just talking about with it's a garage. It's got a roof over it and so forth. It's part of the house that we were able to help him get a couple of years ago because he was literally living in a house at that time with 6 people, 6 or 7. Yes. 6. Yeah. And it was the size of my bedroom at home. Honestly, it was. They couldn't even eat dinner in the same room. So we got them a place to live, and now they turned it into a ministry center. And so they have their offices there, and he's taken his carport or his what do you call those things? A garage. Yeah. He's taking his garage and turning this into a hostel, a dorm of some kind, so that he can bring these people in for training. He was saying the guy was staying at a bus terminal. do not think bus terminal in American terms. Okay, we're talking about a lean-to at best. So this, and I love this about him. He's not going to see a brother suffering when he can bring them in. So these are the kind of needs we have. If you have any interest on that, you can contact him directly at New Life Journey, which he's got a Facebook page and so forth. It's got the email address, or you can contact me. You can contact us at Life Fellowship. And you can even go to our giving page. And on our giving page, you'll see Zimbabwe, and you can give directly to it there. 100% of anything you give goes directly to New Life Journey. We don't take a dime for administration. It all goes there. And I hope you consider doing that, because one of the things I want you to know, and I know I'm going on, but we don't pay some kind of like American salary to Shep. Shep's a farmer. Maybe next episode we'll talk a little bit about your farming skills. He raises his own, he raises his food and sells, and that's his wife is a school teacher. So we're not creating a situation of dependency. We're creating a situation of partnership.
Yeah.
And so this is an important part of our overall philosophy. So if you have questions about how New Life functions, Shep's your man. He'll tell you. If you got any remaining questions, hit me up. But Shep, thanks for telling us about New Life Journey. Go to his page. Just go to the little looking glass icon at the top of your page if you're on Facebook. Look up New Life Journey. It's also on Instagram too, isn't it?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but it will be now.
Yeah.
Maybe by the time this podcast comes out, you can connect them. But yeah, and you'll be able to see the story. You'll be able to see the updates and to be able to see the needs. So you can pray and partner as the Lord leads you. I love this guy. I think now you're seeing why. We're going to have one more episode in the next couple of days, and we're going to be talking about the mindset of discipleship as it relates to having a worldwide vision, which Shep does. If you haven't done it lately, please share us, if you would, on your social media feed. Just let people know about Life Talks. And as always, we're honored that you would take this time to spend with us. And as always, thanks for joining us here at Life Talks.